Hello, my name is Brendan McCune, and welcome to the first ever West Report. In these uncertain times, we find it important to keep the community updated on what's going on here at the school. Let's get right into the news. Up first, we have the story of how the music continues to play on with the Greeley West Band. We go to Jacob Evans now in the field.
Students of music across the world are faced with the challenges of figuring out ways to continuing practicing their music. Today, I find myself outside of the Greeley West High School band room. Behind me, we see the Greeley West marching band continuing to practice. Outdoors provides the best scenario for students to be able to socially distance while continuing to play. Students have had to put shower caps over their instruments and cut holes in their masks in order to actually be able to play the instruments. Luckily, these students are the best and the brightest when it comes to finding creative solutions so that they may continue to keep their music playing. For many students, this has been an activity they have practiced throughout their many years at school. And with COVID-19, they still have the determination and persistence to play.
I do band because it's a passion that I love to do. It's something I've enjoyed since middle school, and even now with everything going on, I still want to continue it.
But playing during this unprecedented time emerges many challenges physically and mentally, affecting how the band plays.
I think some of the difficulties are not being able to be close to each other and help each other and get that much practice in because you don't have everybody around you, and yeah.
Not being able to be together in a traditional band is a major challenge. Practicing at home can also pose a problem.
It's hard to manage time at home because currently right now my sister's working from home and she's taking calls every second, and she has kids at home, which is hard because they mess around a lot, and then we have dogs, so it's hard to clean up after them and cook, and my sister's currently taking hard classes right now, so she needs her quiet time to help focus on her studies and try to get through her stuff.
Not only is band sacrificing its ability to express their music publicly, but also their comfort while practicing.
Yeah, so this year the performances and competitions are a little different. This first semester, there's really nothing happening because all of those competitions and performances have been canceled, partly because the marching band is attached to football. Since there's no football games, there's no marching band, of course. And when we get into the second half of the first semester, those performances have been canceled as well because of the restrictions we have on the public performances. Second semester, we don't know yet, because we're still waiting to hear back from the state if anything might be released as far as what we're able to do. The Combined League Honor Band has been canceled for now. That's going to be in January. But we don't know about February and March, April, and May, of course, until we hear more about what the restrictions happen.
Currently, the band is starting Saturday practices as guidelines are easing off, planning for an informal performance. And with football back on for the fall, they will be playing for the Greeley West fans, bringing back that Spartan spirit. Unique times call for unique solutions. Luckily, here at West, we're surrounded by some of the most intelligent, bright students and staff working together to make sure that students can continue to play. Music has lasted the lifetime of humanity, and COVID-19 is not enough to stop these students and many more from continuing to play their songs. Up next is our first ever Student Spotlight. This week's student is an independent, well-driven student who participates in Greeley West's FFA chapter, is the vice president of our Thespian Troop 3148, and a full IB/DP student. This week's student is Kayla Becker, and now we'll join Brendan McCune in the field.
Up next, we have a story of dedication in the chaos, how senior Kayla Becker continues to be successful with 4-H.
At West, we have many students that push the boundaries outside of school, making them stand out within the crowd. This student is no exception, as she works hard in school and in the field with her beloved animals. Hello, hi Kayla. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your grade and what you do here at West.
Alrighty. Hi, my name is Kayla Becker. I'm a senior here at West, and I'm here to share with you my experiences in livestock showing, and I'd just like to share that I'm also very involved in theater and many clubs here at West as well.
For Kayla Becker, this has been a lifelong hobby. Just to start off, how long have you been showing livestock?
In total, I've been showing livestock since I was about 2, but competitively in 4-H I've been showing for 9 years, and through FFA I've been showing for about 4 years.
Not only has Kayla been involved in this activity all her life, but she also carries on the legacy of this tradition. Would you say that livestock and showing has been a long-running family tradition, or is this recent with you?
It's actually been a really long-running family tradition. It started off with my grandfather, who has been showing for about 65 years. He started showing when he was 9 out in Texas when the 4-H program was just getting started, and then it passed down to my aunt and my mom actually won the Colorado State Fair, and then it passed down to me. So I'm like the 4th generation livestock showman in my family.
But as Kayla displays a deep passion for this endeavor, this hobby might turn into a career. Obviously, ag and agriculture has played a large part in your life so far. Would you like to continue with ag into after high school and into college and with your career?
Absolutely. I'd actually like to become a theriogenologist, which is a branch of veterinary science that deals with embryology and genetics. It's a very specific part of veterinary science, and that's what I'd like to go into. So, yeah.
But without the 4-H and FFA program, Kayla Becker would not be where she is today. How has West's 4-H program helped prepare you and provide resources and support so that you can continue to grow and learn and educate yourself in those areas?
Well, we have a really great FFA advisor, Kelly, and he has helped be a really great support system for me, just constantly being supportive of what I want to do and supporting my dreams in the livestock industry. There's also a really great just group of people to back me up and have similar experiences and share all of those similar experiences within each other, which is really beneficial just simply because it's hard to find people who are so like-minded.
Also, Kayla tries to see COVID-19 as an advantage, despite all the challenges. How would you say COVID impacted State Fair and other fairs this year as well, trying to enforce socially distancing protocols and ensuring the safety of yourself and others?
With all of this, every fair has been a little bit different, but the main thing is that everybody's enforced the mask mandate and applied to the social distancing guidelines. At State Fair in particular, they had security guards that would come help you and come watch you whenever you were at your pens, just to make sure that everybody was being applicable to the guidelines and really staying healthy and trying to maintain all of the rules that were in place. As well as the fact that we actually showed in masks and showed 6 feet apart whenever we were in the ring itself, just to keep everybody's safety in check. And we felt so blessed that we were able to even show this year with everything that was going on. And my county fair, I actually show at 2 county fairs. I show through one in 4-H, which is Boulder County, and I show through one in FFA, which is Weld County. But Boulder County was incredibly strict with the mandates as well, just simply because we had a huge arena and only 10 people were allowed to be in there at one time, which included your judge and your 2 ring masters and also the superintendent. So there was only about 5 kids in the ring at one time, which is a really crazy experience, simply because I won Grand and Reserve at my county fair, and that is something that never happens, and we're really fortunate and blessed to have had that happen to us as well. But when I was showing in the Grand Drive, I had to go tie up one of my lambs and then go show the other one, which usually you would just have somebody else show for you, but we weren't able to make that happen, and it was just a really fun and different experience to have had.
And with all this hard work came many rewards that left Kayla Becker proud of herself and her family proud of her. So this year at State Fair, I hear that you did very well. You placed 2nd with your goat?
Yes, we had a really excellent state fair this year. There were about 250 goats in the building, and I was one of the top 18 goats in the building, which is a really huge accomplishment. Yeah, it was a really great experience, and I'm really, really fortunate to have said that happened to me.
But training animals is more difficult and time-consuming than many think. Wow, big congratulations for that. What does it look like preparing to raise such great high-quality sheep and goats and livestock? What goes into that?
It's a really tedious and long-running experience. It takes a lot of technique and a lot to prepare. We usually start in about February simply because we raise our own lambs, and at that point in time we're usually lambing out babies and having a bunch of babies on the ground, but I buy all of my goats and my hogs. But the actual show season, actual start of training usually starts around late February, early March, which is when we just start preparing and start getting ready and start building a really great program for them to be the best athletes that they can be.
Kayla Becker is a true representation of the determination and Spartan spirit Greeley West displays, and she's only one of the many students that strive to be the best within and outside school.
Thank you for that, Kayla. It's so fascinating to see a Spartan so dedicated to such a unique craft. We hope to do many spotlights in the future, showcasing the wonderful people here at Greeley West.
Up next, we have some updates for the students. Only one cohort has been quarantined so far, with 33 students and 5 adults being sent home. Keep that Spartan spirit up, and remember to wear masks, social distance, and contact your healthcare provider if you display any symptoms of COVID. We also have some construction updates. The ground has officially been leveled at the site, and the foundation will be poured next. This is a warning to any outdoor classrooms that the noise will be loud due to this process. A reminder for eligible seniors, voting opens October 19th, so make sure you are registered, and make sure your voice is heard in this election.
In recent news, on September 18th, Greeley West High School experienced a brief lockdown due to a security threat in the surrounding neighborhood. This threat was resolved quickly, and police contacted Greeley West High School, letting them know that everything was under control and safe. This altercation raised questions surrounding school safety and the role that officers and other community members serve in protecting students and keeping students safe at school. Our next story will be Brendan McCune in the field, talking with students about their beliefs and opinions on school safety and what does and does not belong in a school.
Thank you.
On September 18th, there was a school security threat here at Greeley West, and although the situation was handled, security continues to be an issue nationwide, and that includes Greeley West. For students across the country, school safety has been a priority for many, as they hope to have a safe learning environment. Especially with COVID-19, safety has been a rising question that has put in place many new and innovative protocols.
So at West, how do you advocate for your own safety?
I make sure to remember the procedures.
Gotcha. Such as?
Like making sure to remember my surroundings and who I'm with and stuff like that.
For sure. Do you feel that, like, in the country, violence, like school violence, is as relevant to the threat as last year?
I mean, maybe. Because, less children are at school, so that can play into part, and then, yeah, that's basically it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they can still be a threat, as always, but, yeah.
For many students, communication is key for keeping students safe within school.
I think they should definitely keep parents informed, because most of us who weren't here didn't know what was happening, because we just got a couple of texts in the Discord saying like, hey, the school's locked out, and it was just sent by an email, and I don't know how many parents would even check that during that time of day, and just, I know it'd be a lot of work to call all the parents, but like sending some kind of notification to them that's a bit more responsive would probably be good.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then do you think that the new building will be more secure than the current building?
Probably, because this one has definitely a lot of weird entrances that are hard to monitor, and depending on where the cameras are, it's hard to see.
Even the lunch ladies were hopeful and concerned with school safety. So, how do you feel like school security should be addressed here at West?
Seeing how we're moving into a new school, hopefully the camera situation is good. I know parents are probably a little concerned with everything going on now, but hopefully as long as kids wear their IDs, I think we're kind of going in a good direction, visible for people to see. I know my daughter's in elementary school, and I get a little worried, but I know they have their security systems outside. I feel like we're going in a good direction with our security compared to where it was a few years ago. So I don't know if I would be more concerned, a little more hopeful that we are going in the right direction.
When we asked students if there was still a threat within schools, the answer was without hesitation. Well, do you think, like, compared to maybe just schools in general last year, do you think because of COVID maybe it's less or more of a threat?
Yes, I think it's more of a threat, yes. So,
Gotcha. Why is that?
because it's not alright. So, it's not an okay thing to do, so.
Not only is safety important against intruders and gun violence, but also the current pandemic, and some students aren't seeing this protection. So, are you more worried about COVID at school or violence at school?
I'm going to be more worried about COVID just because we're not social distancing. Our hallways are very cramped. So it's not the best where we are right now. So I think we need to be more worried. Sorry.
With all these worries, the principal, Jeff Cranston, tries to calm these doubts. So, is school security still like a priority?
Absolutely.
So what sorts of policies are in place to protect students?
So we have our 3 security monitors and our school resource officer. I know posted around each classroom is the fire drill sheet, the lockdown, lockout drills, and weather drills. So, you saw that in action a couple weeks ago when we had a lockout called in from the Greeley Police Department. And so went very smoothly, and we were able to return to normal after 5 minutes. So we are not doing the drills this year just because of everything going on, but our protocols are still in place and teachers have still been trained in them.
Yeah. So then kind of with that, like, how does COVID affect school security? Like, how is West kind of adapting to that?
Yeah, I think it actually has helped us be more secure because we're having to man every entrance for temperature taking. And so it's really been nice to greet every student at the door every day and question everybody that comes in. With so many exterior doors here, we might have gotten laxed in the past because we didn't know where people were coming and going from. And so kind of now with our exterior doors locked down, I think we're more secure than we've ever been in this building.
Cranston also had some advice for students.
Okay, then one last question. How can students ensure that they're safe at school? What can they do?
When you see something, say something is the biggest thing. If somebody's acting strange or somebody's in a classroom or in the hallway that you don't recognize, grab an adult and let us know what's going on so we can question them. The other thing I would say is we have the visitor protocol too. So every visitor that comes in is background checked and put a visitor badge on. Although we're not allowing visitors at this time, that's what we do at the doors also to make sure that we know who everybody is here in the building.
Teacher Shahey Collins also had a unique perspective on the subject.
So how do you feel about
about school security and safety here at West?
Good, since there's half the amount of students here, but we still have the same amount of security guards, so the ratio is pretty good. Other than the fact that this would be like a bank robber's dream right now, walking into a bank and going, hands in the air, give me all your money. Well, can you describe the assailant? He says, yeah, he was wearing a mask. Oh, I see. So.
But safety can also transfer over to emotional well-being, making every student physically and mentally safe. And then, how, as a teacher, what sort of things do you do to keep your students safe?
Well, seriously, most of the safety issues that I've come across in high school have kind of just been emotional, to making sure that students feel emotionally secure, obviously physically secure, and that's always a primary, concern, because if you can't have safety in schools, then nothing gets done. No learning at all if you're worried for your own physical fear or something like that. So, I think that's kind of the default that all teachers have.
Gotcha. Yeah. And counselors have a huge part in this emotional health. How do you think, as a counselor, how do you address students' emotional health and how that ties in with school security?
Emotional health and school security. Well, we want our students to feel safe in the building, whether it's COVID or not COVID, and whether it's personal, in the classrooms, in the halls, in the bathrooms. So, I guess it's a good question. It's a broad question, and so I would say that we take each student, and it would be case by case, I think, from my perspective.
And I think we try to meet everybody's need a little bit differently. And so we have some students who, to feel safe, they may need to leave class for a minute, and so they may need some time. So we'll do different things like a pressure pass with a student who might need to just take a minute out of class, which also lends itself to some safety questions in the hallway, because then we have students just kind of walking around. So I think we develop safety plans, and we develop some different options for kids depending on what they need.
It's certainly a complicated issue with complicated perspectives, and as we get updates on the subject, we will be sure to keep you informed.
Thanks for tuning in for this week's The Rust Report. We'll be back in the future giving you the ins and outs of student life and faculty here at West. Don't forget to check out our website for ongoing stories surrounding the students at West and faculty, and check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.